Hello? Yes, that was intentional. When they get back home, asijiulize maswali, what will I do? But they're speaking to themselves, so I couldn't say that. So when they get back home, they get into widow groups. We've also trained 500 widow groups, which are supporting the widow champions and the widows who have been resettled. So they get a hand to walk them through the journey of life. As Kelin, staff and partners, we have constructed 6 houses for the widows whose houses were brought down. We have quite a number. We have quite a number of widows who do not have houses, who have nothing, but we still call upon any person of goodwill. We have a database of widows who need houses. Maybe I can use this opportunity. We can link up, and then we can put up a house for 1 or 2 widows. That will be a step in the right direction. But we have managed to put up 6 houses through the resources we've raised in amongst ourselves and our partners with support. And the widows are grateful. After that, there is a change. They start taking care of themselves. We also do research. Our most recent research and survey is on the impacts of Luo culture on women, land, and property rights. You can also find that on our website. And a research on dowry practices. What are the impacts of dowry practices to our women, land, and property rights, or to women land rights? So what we find is culture has a place, plays a central role in whatever we are doing. And we need to rethink on how we are going to formulate a new culture. I don't believe that culture is made for us, but we make the culture. Isn't that so? Isn't that so? Because if I would think sometime back, Africans, we were not putting these clothes. This was not our culture. But now we are shining in them. It is our culture now, right? So, just like we are putting on these clothes right now, I'm calling upon each and every one of us to rethink our culture. What would be the equitable culture that is respectful of human well-being? Otherwise, allow me to welcome my colleague, who is the head of department, to just give us the other part of the journey, and to welcome the other guest, Ms. Jessica Oluoch, kindly.
don't know why I was expecting Carol to dance and sing so that you can be able to move around, but I do appreciate that. And I just want to reiterate that today we are here because of you. It's true that we are celebrating the milestones that we have had for this long, since 2009, because of the widows that we have in the room, because of the elders that we have worked with relentlessly day in, day out in terms of following up of the cases, because of the community-based organizations that we have engaged, not only in terms of sensitization, not only in terms of assisting us in identification of cases, in terms of disseminating the information at the community level, and we do appreciate the efforts that you make in order to ensure that we have documentation of cases. I would like to recognize the pro bono lawyers that we have. We do have a good working relationship with the lawyers in the room, and I know the widows and elders can attest to the fact that they're always ready and willing to assist in terms of follow-up of cases. And we have had so many successes where we have helped the widows to be able to resolve the cases. And I do know that it is a good thing that Kelin is working together with the chiefs. We have elders and the chiefs jointly engaging in terms of mediation of cases, and we have them sitting together when they're sensitizing the communities, be it through the chiefs' barazas or any other avenues. We do not take it for granted. It would be a loss for me to speak today without mentioning that the kind of efforts that we have right now is also something that we are hoping to, or we have been working with other civil society organizations to ensure that when we are trying to push forward this work, we are not only doing it as Kelin, but also doing it as other civil society organizations, because we do work in different areas, but it's very important for us to be able to unite in the kind of work that we do. Not mentioning the government, I'm not forgetting the government. I know we've worked a lot with the National Land Commission. We've worked with the public trustee, we've worked with the marriage registrars, especially, and the family division court and the judiciary generally, to ensure that we are synthesizing the information that we have on access to justice so that we can be able to break it to a language that is understandable. So I know Ken has already created the map as to where we started and where we are right now. But since 2009, it's more than 10 years. I think it's almost 13 years of implementing the project. And it's a pleasure to see the First Lady here today, because I know she was part of the team that started the Cultural Structures Project, that started this entire work in terms of identifying the widows who need access to justice, in terms of identifying the health rights that cut across with regard to the land and property rights of these widows. And therefore today, as we celebrate, and now that Ken has already sort of outlined where we have come from, I will be happy to paint the picture as to where we are going. So we do have various projects. We have had various projects within Kelin in terms of ensuring access to justice for the most vulnerable. As an organization, I'm sure it was mentioned in the morning that we focus on health rights generally, but within various thematic areas. But we also do understand that sometimes when we are helping one individual who might have land and property rights issues, there are also other aspects that come in that are related to health. And that's why even today among us, we have the community health advocates who work on various aspects, including HIV and TB, including aspects of discrimination, among any other aspects relating to health, who also help us in terms of interlinking. So that being said, we are moving forward to the next steps. We have developed key messages in terms of ensuring that we have done our research and sort of developed messages that are coming from the communities and not coming from Kelin as an organization. And it is these messages that we are disseminating on social media, on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, to ensure that when we're talking about land and property rights, we are talking about it from a united front. Number two, we are sort of trying to expand the kind of work that we do. We have done a good job in Kisumu and Homa Bay. I'm not saying that we are moving from Kisumu and Homa Bay, but we are going to continue working with people in Kisumu and Homa Bay as we move to Siaya, as we move to Kakamega, as we move to Kajiado, and as we move to Nairobi. Because what we have done so far, we have realized that there is room for us to be able to take what we have seen here as a success and take it to other communities so that they can be able to benchmark on it. And I will say one example that we can use to show the kind of successes that needs to be replicated in other counties is how we came together when we were having the alternative justice system policy. I don't know how many people remember, but we brought together the elders and the widows to sort of bring an outline as to what they would like to see for the policy that will ensure that we have uniformity when it comes to resolving disputes using AJS. And we are happy to say that if you look at the AJS policy as it is right now, and the documentation that was come up with with the elders and the widows, you'll see that almost 80% of what we had submitted has been adopted. And it means what we are writing is actually working. And it's now a policy that is being used nationally. And we're engaging the task force in terms of implementing this policy so that we don't have to have a situation where an elder is volunteering to do mediations in 10 counties, there is no remuneration, they are doing it voluntarily, yes, but then there is avenue for support. And also there is avenue for improvement in terms of information, making sure that there are continuous trainings and there's continuous engagement, not only with Kelin, but also with the members of the task force and with the judiciary. So one of the things that I would also like to point out is this year we have worked a lot with the National Land Commission. I don't know if Mr. Pida has had an opportunity to say something, but at this juncture, I would like to give him 1 minute or 2 minutes to be able to share on the partnership that we have with Kelin and the kind of issues that we have cutting across when it comes to land and property rights. So that is me giving myself an opportunity to pause from speaking very fast and to give Mr. Pida 1 minute as I drink water. So over to you, Mr. Pida. Let's welcome him with a clap.
Good afternoon, everybody. Is it good morning? Okay. My name is Apida. I'm the County Coordinator, National Land Commission, Kisumu County. And we are, as a National Land Commission, we are so grateful to have entered into partnership with Kelin. We had planned to do so many things with Kelin in Kisumu County, and especially awareness concerning land administration and so many other land issues. Although it has not come to fruition. I think she knows why. But we are still engaging more and more, and I believe in future the partnership will be more pronounced in terms of what we plan to do. And in our engagements, one of the things Kelin is involved in, like AGS, in National Land Commission, we call it ADR, Alternative Dispute Resolution. That one is in our mandate. And we promised Kelin that when it comes to that, they can count on us for any goodwill. We'll support everything they do in terms of alternative justice resolution. Apart from that, there are so many other fields where we had proposed to Kelin that we can partner. But as I've told you, we will do most of the things in the future, as some of the plans we had made did not come to fruition. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Peter. And I think for purposes of transparency, we have sat together with the National Land Commission and sort of developed a work plan as we identify the kind of gaps that we have with regard to land implementation, because sometimes the efforts that we make as CSOs can only go so far, right? There is need for us to be able to partner with government institutions so that the plans that we have in terms of facilitating access to justice for women, aspects of alternative justice system, aspects of sensitizing the community is something that is done uniformly and with the same sense of direction. So we sat down, we developed a work plan. We, as civil society organizations do, we decided to look for money so that we can be able to implement together, because by then we were not able to do so. But I do know that in the coming year, we are going to be able to work together because we've sort of laid the ground in terms of what the plan is. Because we cannot, I don't want to say that we do not want to continue doing CSP, but there's need for us to be able to move to a different level. And therefore, working with the National Land Commission is an avenue for us to be able to move at issues stroke, I don't want to say bottom up, I want to say from the community level and moving to aspects of policy, so that we can ensure that the conversations that we are having are contributing to policy, are contributing to aspects of standard operating procedures when it comes to documentation of cases, and actually the kind of efforts that we are making at the community level and at the county level are things that can be replicated across the board. So I think that being said, and considering that Ken already indicated the kind of milestones that we have had so far, it is now time for us to be able to move to the main agenda for today. And that's why we have, this is not part of the hotel, that's why we have this square that is covered in different colors. But in order for us to get there, and in order for us to be able to have those conversations, I would like to take this opportunity to be able to welcome a woman that I respect so much. This is the First Lady, Kisumu County, Madam Dorothy Nyong'o. As I said, she was at the inception of the Cultural Structures Project. She worked together with a few of our board members, Catherine Muma, Mr. Rachel, who was here today, in terms of conceptualizing the project and seeing what do we need to do in order for us to be able to respond to the violations. I know that she also has a passion in terms of working with civil society organization and has won an award when it comes to women empowerment. And it's actually an international award. I think it's called WOMA. I do not, and I know that there is need for us to be able to ensure that as we make efforts in terms of implementing at the sub-county level, there is need for us to be able to work hand in hand with the county government. And therefore, as usual, tunarudi kwa serikali, we are going to be doing the Nyayo clap as she comes so that she can say a word or two before we proceed to the next aspect of the launch. So, if I look around the room, I don't think there is anyone who does not understand the Nyayo clap, unless I am mistaken. So do I need to demonstrate? I need to demonstrate. Okay. So this is how it's going. No, I'm not going to do it myself because it will be, it will be sort of jumping protocol. So I'm going to welcome Apollo, Elder Apollo, to lead us in the Nyayo clap as we welcome the First Lady Kisumu County. So he's going to take over from here.
Good morning. Good morning. Can you hear me at the back? Thank you. I'm really excited to be here this morning with you. Thank you for inviting me to this important launch. What you're talking about here is very close to my heart. Thank you, ladies, for the stories you shared. Paris, is it Paris? Where is she? Thank you very much. You are very encouraging and you're a very brave woman. Well done. Keep it up and may God provide and bless you always. You have been such an inspiration. Just listening to your journey. We wish you well in your exams and show them. Show those people that you can do it. Yeah, you will finish that primary school, you will finish secondary. I pray that you will go on to university and even get that doctorate that they are showing off with. Show them. Just live your life and show them. So, as has been mentioned, yes, I've been involved in this conversation for many years now, and I am amazed, really amazed at how far Kelin has come. Congratulations, Kelin. Thank you for keeping on with the conversation, with the training. You have achieved a lot. You have made a difference in the lives of so many women, widows, and it's just incredible here in Kisumu and in Homa Bay, and we wish you well even as you take this forward to the other counties. Yes, they have a lot that they can learn from you, and the impact will be felt for very many generations. So I was involved in the conversation about women's property rights, and in fact, as far back as 2005, we wrote a book called From Despair to Hope: Women's Rights to Own and Inherit Property. This was a life-changing project for me because we were having meetings. I remember we were having them at Tomboya Labor College, meeting elders from around Nyanza, and meeting with widows, meeting with all kinds of leaders and stakeholders. And we went to visit women, widows in their homes. They told us their stories. We cried with them. Even as we were capturing the stories, in fact, at some point, I had to take a break from it to just gather myself so that I could write about it, because it was overwhelming. And it was incredible to see how our communities treat women. It was heartbreaking, and we really, really hoped that things would change. Things indeed have changed very slowly, but they have not changed for all women everywhere. So this is a journey. A seed has been sown. It's a long journey, long and painful, but the success indeed gives us hope. I am pleased to be here today with one of my sisters, Pauline. She's at the back. She is not a widow, but I invited her to those meetings way back then. She was going through, an abusive marriage. The relationship was crumbling. She was away from her home, and those discussions empowered her. They empowered her so much because one of the things that we learned in the process was that actually when your marriage breaks down or you become a widow, sometimes you are estranged from your home, but it's not you only who suffers. Your children become disenfranchised. They get uprooted from their home. They lose their roots. And so this message came home very strongly for Pauline. And I am so pleased, and I can share with you, I didn't ask her, but I'm so pleased that soon after that, she was able to go back to her village and claim her space and establish her home so that her children had a place where they can call home, where they belong. Congratulations, well done. I remember during those discussions and the training, we met with village elders, the police were being trained, leaders and chiefs, and so on and so forth. This is such a multi-sectoral area. Everybody is involved. Everybody has a part to play. And so, even as we educate and empower women, young women, helping them to cope, I know that Kelin is focusing on widows, but let us please remember, and maybe somebody else needs to take up that mantle, to remember that there's a lot of work to be done, even among the women who are not widows, because there's a lot of suffering, a lot of gender-based violence, and a lot of women, even when they are living with their husbands or partners, as was shared earlier, they do not have access to property, and they are disenfranchised to a great extent. So there is still a lot to be done, even for the non-widows. So let us keep it up, educate, empower women, all kinds of women, especially young women, but also empower men. Keep on, don't give up on them. Sometimes they do these things out of sheer ignorance. When they have been exposed to meetings like this, and when they really get to learn what it is that they're subjecting their women to, they realize, and some of them do change, and then they become advocates. So they are important partners. Let's keep working with them as well, and let us do all we can to empower our communities so that they can cope, and especially the widows, so that they can cope with life no matter what. Again, thank you, Paris, for sharing your story, and we encourage you and pray that God will continue to bless you and uplift you. Thank you. And now I think I need to perform the duty of launching the report. Again, as I mentioned earlier, well done, Kelin. Well done, Alan. Well done, and keep this fire burning. God bless you.
Representative to be able to join the First Lady as we do the unveiling of the Milestone report. So it will be great to have representatives from the widows. We can have Carol, we can have Penina, we can have an elder, the leadership of the elders from Kisumu County. We could have Kasuku, and then from Homa Bay, we can be able to have Apollo. Then we'll have Mr. Apida joining us from the NLC.
Good afternoon. I am very honored to be here today and to stand before you and to suddenly be invited to give some of what will be considered the closing remarks for a workshop that it's my first time to attend, but the work that has been done here has constituted a lot of the work that I have done for many years. I'd like to say that the experience that the First Lady shared about her sister Pauline and how it impacted her life, before it impacted her life, because she attended the workshop many years ago, and I don't think she knew it was going to impact her life in the way that it did. She was just moving on with her life, and then one day her past, or I think the English word that is used is ex. Her ex-husband contacted her, somebody who hadn't been speaking with her, and wanted her to go and establish a home, not because he was totally in love with her or cared about her life or how she was doing, but because he was a traditionalist and he couldn't establish the home with his second wife while he had the mother of his older children somewhere. And she said, hallelujah, and went and established that home. But how has it impacted my life? Before that, she told me how she had learned about certain rights that are traditional, that can actually be worked alongside her legal rights and her Christian rights, that can help a woman to get the things that she needs, that are her rights. And how it has impacted my life is because I teach women. I work with women, and I have been able to work with a large number of women and tell them, don't ever let any of your rights go. There are people who exist in society who will uphold your rights. And so today when I was coming here, I had never met you, but you've impacted my life already. And I've been asked to come and stand here. I tend to talk, that's why they told me to be the one to come and speak. So I came because I tend to talk. So I've said a lot of words already. But these are the words that I want to say in closing. Well done. You have done so good. Be so proud of yourself. The milestones go well beyond the 6 women who you say you built houses for. The work that you have done in the background has built many, many houses, provided shelter for so many women, because that is the rolling effect that you have created. Well done. I do not believe that I have the authority to say I declare this workshop closed or anything, because that is somebody else's job. But I say this workshop has done marvelously. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, Jessica. Good afternoon, everyone. I know this is exactly a minute after midday. My role today is very simple. As Jessica said, it is just a vote of thanks. And I just want to start by just saying to our chief guest, thank you very much for finding time to grace this occasion. I want to say a big thank you to all of you. This occasion is very well represented. As you heard right from the beginning, we have chiefs here, we have elders from Kisumu, from Homa Bay, we have civil society organizations represented here. We have our widows who we have celebrated today. We have our champions. And we also have members of staff who are here. For those who did not have the opportunity, at the beginning we had some introductions. My name is Peter Kimanthi. At Kelin, I head the operations and compliance function. So I need to just say thank you very much for gracing this occasion. It is you, not Kelin. When I was introducing myself in the morning, I said, it is you telling the story, not Kelin, because you are the people in the grassroots, you are the people who interact with the beneficiaries, and what I can close by just saying is the milestones report, which contains all the success stories and where we want to go. We can only do that with your support. Kwa hivyo, asante sana for what you have been able to do for the last 13 years, and it is my wish and belief and hope that you will walk with Kelin the journey in moving forward. Of course, just using where we are and where we have come from as a stepping stone. So thank you very much, and I wish you a beautiful afternoon and a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you very much.